Welcome to our Ask the Trainer session today. Today we're talking about no equipment workouts. So no matter what you have at home, we have some solutions for you in your workouts. You can go ahead and type your question in the chat and we can answer you that way, and raise your hand or feel free to unmute yourself to talk. Today with us, we have Sean and Steve.
Hey guys.
Hello.
All right, here are some things that we can go over today, depending on what you like to start with at the gym and what you do and in what order, how long your workouts are, how many days a week that you're working out, even the type of workout that you enjoy. We can talk about a little bit of all of that. If you don't have any equipment at home, here are some ideas for you. Sean has a backpack there filled with weights that he's gonna show you an example of.
Great.
How heavy is that backpack?
I have some dumbbells in there, some lighter ones. I'm gonna guess about 20, 25 pounds. Great for multiple sets and reps, squats, reverse lunges. You can change it up too and change where you're going to load your weight. You can keep it in front as well. A lot of different things you can do with a backpack there.
If you're looking for more of just using smaller weights, 1 pound weights, filling a water bottle would be the best option for something like that. All right, why don't you guys go ahead and describe what a normal routine would be at the gym for yourself and how you turn that into a workout at home for yourself.
Steve, you want to start with that one?
Yeah, the big thing for me is usually, I'm usually generally doing a total body workout. You know, the sets and reps scheme kind of varies depending on the exercise for me. But the big thing is when you're at home, you have less ways to vary intensity or vary volume. Volume is probably the easiest way to up the intensity. So if you don't have the amount of resistance equipment that you would normally have at the gym, you can go ahead and just typically try to do more reps is what I've been doing at home, which is borderline torture for me. And then I would still set up the same total body workout that I normally would, except I'm just doing less weight, or if it is body weight, just doing a lot more reps than I normally would.
What about for you, Sean?
Yeah, so to kind of go off of what Steve said, and just to, you know, a lot of what I notice at the gym, a lot of what people usually do is they'll get there and hop on a treadmill or a bike, or, you know, go stretch. You know, like Steve, I like to lift heavier loads. So I always start with foam rolling anyways. And I'll do some mobility work and, you know, just some corrective exercises and getting my body fully warmed up. Love to do some core movements and contralateral movements such as bird dogs and dead bugs, and a lot of mini band work to get my hips firing before I jump into anything. And so, you know, I look at what people have the opportunity to do. And, you know, if they're going to jump on the treadmill anyways, you know, what better way than to, you know, get outside like we can right now. Weather's so, but there's some cardio options there. And then I was going to get into what Steve was talking about with what's the best way to make up for lost weight that you don't have. If you don't have a home gym setup or extra weights, couple that with more reps. It's just an unfortunate situation that we don't have all the equipment to use right now, but more reps, you're going to get that volume in. And a couple of things that I've been doing just to add a more intensity factor and just to add a different element and challenge myself is doing what I like to call are called EMOMs, every minute on the minute. I'll throw in push-ups and squat variations where I'm doing something like 10 squats and 10 push-ups, or a different number there. And then I'll start the timer, and then whatever time I have left, let's say I finish that set in 25 seconds. Well, then I have 35 seconds to rest until the minute mark hits, and then I restart. So I'm limiting the amount of rest I have, so my body's trying to work under fatigue. And I'll do.
So you're picking a few exercises and doing a minute of work and 25 seconds of rest.
What I'll do is I'll set that goal of, let's just say I'm doing a 5-minute EMOM, okay, and I'm trying to do 20 push-ups every minute. So I start the timer, I do my 20 push-ups in 30 seconds, I have 30 seconds to rest. The next minute mark hits, let's say that next set takes me 35 seconds, okay, then I just have 25 seconds to rest. So I'm trying to, yep, so you're definitely getting your heart rate up there. You're having to recover quickly. It's a good challenge. And then those are workouts you can easily revisit, okay, and challenge yourself to get better, do better the next time you put something like that together. And you can do that with you have stairs in your house, or if you're able to get to a stadium and you want to do some quick sprints and you want to do some shuttle runs. I'm going to do 3 shuttle runs at 5 yards apart, and then rest until that minute mark hits. So good ways to get your heart rate up, limit your rest, and better condition yourself.
Yeah, Sean, those are some great ideas. So if someone has only 2 days a week to work out and they're busy, what are some ideas for them for a full body workout?
We're looking at a full body workout. What I like to do is
2 days to work out.
Well, I'm gonna probably do a little bit of everything each day. Then, what I like to do when I'm in the gym is throw together circuits. So I can do that at home too, without having as much equipment. So if I want to put together a circuit, I'm going to look at an upper body exercise, a lower body exercise, and then I could look at doing like a core move or a cardio move, or even throw all 4 of those together. So let's just say I'm going to do 10 push-ups. Okay. I'm going to do 10 lunges on each leg. All right. I'm going to do a minute plank. All right. And then I'm going to go for a short jog. I'm going to come back. I'm going to recover, and I'm going to repeat that. So there's many different variations you can throw together of exercises and throw together in a circuit. You can challenge yourself with time. You can put yourself on the clock. So there's many different ways you can challenge yourself in getting a full body workout, especially, those who have kids and are still working, and time's an issue. Even if you just have 20 minutes, you put that workout together, put yourself against the clock, okay? And you can put together 2 workouts for the week and revisit those the next week and challenge yourself to do better.
All right, next up we have upper body exercises. So what are some of your favorites, Steve or Sean, upper body exercises you're doing at home without any equipment?
Steve, you want to touch on that first?
Yeah,
I think the
there
big
you go.
thing, you don't need anything at all. So obviously there's push-ups. They're easily to vary in many different ways, and they're also easy to make significantly more challenging for some and significantly easier for others. You know, it's as simple as putting your hands on the edge of your dresser, and it's going to be up a little bit higher, so it's easier for you to do. You can always do push-ups from your knees, and the same thing kind of goes for tricep dips. You can use the edge of a chair, the couch. So for all of us, those are the easiest ones that we can do with absolutely nothing.
I also had on there our shoulder exercises. If Sean, looks like you have more room there, you want to demonstrate the why?
I like to do IYTs with, you know, usually with resistance bands, and I'll show with resistance bands too, just to get the shoulders, you know, moving about in all directions. I come up on a Y, and a T, so I'm working on getting full range of motion too, okay? And I'll even add in a pullback, okay, so I get more range of motion there. Steve wants to, you know, here, I'll even add in my resistance band too. I like to, you know, I order resistance bands just from Amazon, pretty cheap. Wad fitters is usually what I use. So I'll just put one foot on the band, come up in an I, Y, and a T.
How many reps do you do at that for a warm-up?
I'm going to hit about 10 reps at each one. You know, it depends on the band that you're going to use, and it depends on your level, you know, your level of strength, you know, and what your mobility in your shoulder is too. You know, some may not be able to, you know, go out laterally in a full range like I did, but just in the sense of getting your shoulders warmed up, about 10 to 15 reps in each direction.
So if you do have a resistance band, you're able to do a little bit more.
Yes, and you know, like we talked about with household items, you know, I'll use those moves with clients just for a general warm up too, especially if it's an upper body day. You know, canned foods are what, couple pounds, so great use as a light dumbbell. You know, you can use milk jugs, fill it up with water, and add more resistance there. So a couple of ways to add a little bit of resistance if you don't have lighter dumbbells or resistance bands.
Awesome. Our next slide, we have lower body exercises. You want to touch on some of your favorites to do at home?
Yeah, and as I showed earlier, I loaded had my backpack loaded up. You know, you can make that as heavy as you want. Throw it on your back, and it's going to be, you know, I love the barbell back squat, one of my favorite exercises. So that weight's going to be sitting a little bit differently on your back than a barbell would, just with the dispersion of that weight, and the weight sitting a little bit lower. You know, obviously you're not gonna, you know, get to loads of 100+ pounds, but good way to add some resistance, okay? And you know, you can couple that with lunges, right? And the backpack's great because it has a handle on it, so that's gonna, and you can even curl it up. That's gonna be a good, easy way to deadlift and to get some hip extension in there. A little bit tougher with the backpack, but good way to get kettlebell swings in. So there's definitely a lot you can do with the backpack, especially because it has the use of its handle and the straps to throw on your back, to add for squats and lunges, and even run stairs with.
I think the easiest one, again, and it just goes back to that idea, if you absolutely have nothing, you can always squat. So even when you go in the gym and you have all the equipment, if you think of doing a leg press, doing a hack squat, a back squat, front squat, they're all really the same compound lower body movement. So we can take that squat and we can go wide, we can go narrow, we can go sumo, and everything in between, and get some variation so it doesn't have to necessarily feel so completely repetitive. But at the same time, again, Sean's kind of touched on this previously. If you did 100 today, there's no reason that a couple days from now you try and do 120. A couple days after that, you try and do 150 in one workout. So you can up your intensity, up your volume, with getting everything in your lower body with one move and not really having to reinvent the wheel or try and overthink it too much if you don't have anything available to you.
Yeah, great points. Our last slide we have is our core exercises. If you guys want to touch a little bit about the 4 core exercises to include in a workout, our anterior, posterior, lateral, and rotational. Sean, you want to go explain a few for each of those?
Sure. Yep. And I love that we're talking about, all 4 there, and how we're going to position ourselves. I love rotational movement, especially working with athletes, and being that athletics are going to be played in all 3 planes of motion. So a few things that I like to do, and I'm gonna use a resistance band here just for sheer sake of you can involve many different pieces of equipment with this. As I said before, some light things such as canned goods and water jugs. Okay, but I'm going to do just a band rotation. So I'm really trying to control everything and move about my hips. So I'm loaded on my right side right now. And then I'm gonna drive through my obliques and rotate all the way through there. So something you can use in that regard, I love to do wood chops, okay? So resistance band isn't great for that now because that's gonna be more of a freestanding thing. But if I'm going to grab a canned good, I can rotate from bottom to top and go about an entire rotation. Did you get me on?
Yeah, we got it. It cut out for a second, but
okay,
we can see you now.
Okay. All right.
So that was a good rotational one. If you didn't have equipment, using just sitting on the ground, something like bicycles.
Yep. So great work, Eric. Can you still see me?
A little bit.
Okay. Russian twists are great. All right. So a great way to still get rotation out of your core and abdominal wall there, and you're still moving about your hips and obliques, and still able to get some rotational movement in that sense.
I always like to explain to clients that core is not just working out our front of our stomach. It's working your your back as well. So what types of posterior moves would you do without any equipment?
I think a glute bridge is great, and I think we didn't touch on that earlier, but that was thrown in as a lower body exercise. So great way to strengthen the posterior chain, glutes, and lower erectors, because you're able to get that full hip extension and good engagement of your glutes at the top of that bridge. And you can even add in different variations where you're doing a single leg glute bridge and you're doing different holds. So you're working a little bit of isolation there as well.
And of course, some anterior moves would be anything like crunches
Yep.
or sit-ups.
Yep.
And then our lateral, any good ideas for our lateral exercises, moving side to side?
If I'm going to put myself in a frontal plane position, I love to do side planks or anything that's going to hip dips are great too, because you're still able to get some extension in the hips in that regard.
Steve, do you have any favorites?
I know for me, I like a lot of the posterior stuff, depending on positioning. If you're getting in, again, not reinventing the wheel, planks are really great for the majority of us to do. Again, it's a time thing. You can always add a little bit of resistance too, by adding a little bit of weight if you want to. The other thing that I like a lot, and it's somewhat unconventional, but we see it a lot now, is if you got a good old sledgehammer laying around in the garage, and if you don't have a tire, that's fine too. There's always, if there's a piece of your yard that you don't mind messing up a little bit, you can always get a sledgehammer out and swing a sledgehammer, and that's going to get a lot of different core stuff at one time, and that's obviously also going to throw in a lot of shoulders and upper body too.
Yeah, so we went over a lot today: upper body, lower body, even core exercises, everything that we can do at home without any equipment. You guys want to sum it up on maybe what you've been doing at home, or any advice you would have for your clients right now?
Yep, Steve, you want to go ahead first, and then I'll touch on that.
Well, I'm fortunate enough to have a little bit of equipment at home. So things have not changed a ton for me. Yeah, I'm still doing Olympic lifts and things like that in my driveway, and flipping tires in my driveway. Nice. So not too different for me. The big thing is something I don't normally do. I would not normally do as much of the bodyweight exercises as I am right now, or the reps, because I'm not a big rep guy. I'd like to just pick up something heavy once and call it good. And I've been running more, so kind of forcing myself to do some of those things a little bit more than I normally would, which isn't a bad thing. And the other thing that I would say goes for all of us is the one thing that everybody always says they need to do more of if you go to the gym consistently, and nobody does, is stretch. So
great point. Yep.
That's something that none of us say we have time to do, or we don't, I don't know where I'm going to fit it in. Well, a lot of us got a lot of extra time and a lot more time sitting at home. There's some time to do some of those things too. So, it may be a good time to try and do some things that are a little bit different, or do those things that you say, well, I always wanted to try and run a little bit more. Well, this is a good time to go ahead and try it.
Yeah, great points.
Yep, I loved a lot of what Steve said there. You know, I'm a heavy lifter as well. You know, I think I may even enjoy reps a little bit more than Steve, and I have a decent home gym setup, so life hasn't changed too much for me. And I even purchased a new kettlebell, so I have some ways there. I've been more intentional about getting outside. I'm not a huge runner unless I sprint. So I've gotten some runs in. I've been able to run some stairs. I've been getting out for several hikes. So I think the biggest thing is to, you know, make sure that you're intentional about getting out and moving. That's what I've been talking to my clients about. Is right now we're all in a different situation. The best thing you can do is move, get up off the couch for a bit, go for a walk, do some yard work, take some time, like Steve said, stretch. I've been, you know, warming up for about half hour, 45 minutes with every lift that I have, because I do have the time. And I'm usually not as good about that. So I bought myself a new foam roller, more intentional about foam rolling every day. You know, like I talked about earlier, challenge yourself. You know, set up circuits for yourself where you're doing upper body moves, lower body moves, core moves, you know, different cardio stuff, and challenge yourself. Write down your workouts, and then, you know, save that for 2 weeks from now, or, you know, even a week from now. Challenge yourself to beat your time or beat the amount of reps that you got in a certain amount of time, and just get out there and move and challenge yourself.
That's great. So we went over a lot today and have some great tips on some at-home workouts that we can do. If you'd like to check out any more of our offerings during this time, go to greatermidland.org and click on wellness, and you can see our virtual wellness tab. And if you want to see more about what our personal trainers have to offer, you can go to greatermidland.org/personal training.